Hey everyone, Pastor George here. Today for our Thursday mailbag, I have a question from Joan, although she asked it to me, not sent it, so I can just ask you or tell you what she asked me. And what she asked me was, what do we make of God's glory in Exodus? Right? She wanted to know what the Bible is referring to when it talks about God's glory, specifically in Exodus 33. She didn't ask that part, but that's what we've read recently, so I assume that that's what she was thinking of. And in Exodus 33:18, Moses says this. He says, "Please show me your glory." And God said, "I will make all my goodness pass before you, and I will proclaim before you my name, the Lord. And I will be gracious to whom I will be gracious, and I will show mercy on whom I will show mercy." All right, so that's what Moses is asked there, right? He asked to see God's glory. So what does that mean? Well, glory is a complicated word. We hear it all the time. We never, as far as I know, really use it in any daily speech. I've never heard anyone use glory outside of a person's name, just to talk about things or unrelated to the Bible, right? So it's a biblical word, and it appears hundreds and hundreds of times in the Bible. So you have all sorts of different ways that it's referred to, and so it can be really difficult to figure out what the Bible is talking about, especially because we don't use it. So, in short, what glory is in the Bible is a manifestation of God, right? It's God's manifestation in the world in some way, right? And we see this in this story because we have Moses asking God to see him, right? And God says that he will pass by, and he ends up, because he's so holy and powerful, he has to put Moses in a cleft in a rock, right? But here's something that's really interesting. So Hebrew is an interesting language because it's what we call a root language. And all the Semitic languages are actually like this. They have a root. So they have three letters, not vowels usually, that form a concept. And that concept can kind of mean all sorts of different things, but they're all kind of generally related. So, for example, you have the root MLK, right? I use K, although it's not really a K, but it's like a CH, I guess is actually better. MLCH, and that can mean all sorts of things. Usually there is the verb, malach, which is to rule, but if you change the vowels in the middle, it becomes melech, which is a king, right? So melech melchim, king of kings, right? So you can see how the word for king and the word for rule are related through the root, okay? So the word for glory in Hebrew, which is what is used in this section here, is the root is KBD or KVD, really. It's just different, but it's K, Kaf Bet Dalet, if you want to use the Hebrew, and it means it's here. It's kavod, which is glory, but it has this general use of weightiness, right? It actually means like weight, the weight of God. That's what it really is actually meaning, and we translate it to glory because the whole being of God, right? The heaviness of God comes to dwell on the earth, right? It manifests itself, and so we use the Latin word gloria for that in English, doxa in Greek, like doxology, right? The glory of God, right? Glorifying God. So it means to be heavy, but it also can mean things like, and this kind of helps maybe to understand a little bit more, like their other way of using it in the Bible is kaved, and kaved, it means liver, so it means like the inside, because it was believed in by the ancient Near Eastern peoples that the liver, which is like down here, right, was like the center of thought for the human brain, like for the human body, right? That's where the soul dwells. So it's like the inmost thing of the person is there. So it's this idea that there's this heaviness to God, and so you get the full picture of who God is, right? When you talk about his glory, you see him in his fullness. And the reason that Moses has to hide, and the reason that this is usually something that is hidden, both by humans and by God is because it makes one extremely vulnerable. From human to human, right? To reveal all of your inmost things makes you vulnerable. But God revealing all of his inmost things makes us vulnerable as well, because it's like pure holiness and pure light, right? To the point where it would damage anyone who is unprepared for these things, right? So that's what it's kind of meaning at in this section in Exodus, right? The heaviness of God is manifesting itself, and it's so heavy it's too much for Moses to bear, right? In holiness, that he can't see it, so God hides him away. So like that's a really short answer, really abridged. Uh, I the word the root KBD appears in the Old Testament like 400 times or something like that. And so if you really want to do a full study of it, you can. But it's interesting. It's just there's a lot of different ways of describing it. But think of the idea of like it being weighty with power and might, and that's what God's glory is. It's its full manifestation, and it's so heavy that we can't possibly hope to lift it, right, with our minds or anything else. So that's a good question, Joan. Difficult to answer when it comes to words, but hopefully that cleared things up a little bit. I will see all of you guys on next Tuesday for my next Theolog, and of course on Sunday for worship. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace out.